Do you feel it's possible to grow a profitable business without busting your butt and like burning the candle at both ends, at least for a time period?
At least for a time period, no. You have to, I think they're guaranteed you will have a period of absurd effort to get to any place that you're building something great. And because I think for the most part, to unlock the ability to build something great, you have to have some level of either foundation built, or if you're going to be doing it as a side hustle, you're going to have to work in the morning and the evening. So my take there is anything great will have a period of long intensity. So I look at what Khe's done, right? Maybe you spent 10 years working as hard as you did, and looking back, that could have been 4 or 5 if you had known what you know now. But I don't think you would have ever gotten to a place like this, because you look at your colleagues who are still kind of on the rat race or in the hamster wheel of that and still burning the candle at both ends, but they might not have gone as hard as you did during your time there. They kind of malaised on, and now they're almost stuck, where you had the ability to break free and then probably apply some of those things you learned to your own business.
How so for your own program, Ship 30 for 30, Dickie? Like I'm imagining, like, you know, kind of doing the moonlighting and having a full-time job while you were getting all that off the ground and everything. Like, I got to imagine that was pretty brutal. Were there any points during that where you were just like, I don't know if this is for me? Like this just seems too intense.
It wasn't brutal because I really enjoyed what I was doing, but I mean, I was up at 4:30 a.m. building that till 7:30 and working from after dinner until I fell asleep every day all of 2021. Now, granted, I was working remotely at the time, so it's a lot easier to switch right from what I was doing for BlackRock to what I was building, but there was never a time where I was overly tired or doing anything like that, because I think I was always working on something that I knew had long-term benefits, and I enjoyed the entire process. So where I think hustle culture can be a negative is if it encourages you to work on something that you're not enjoying just for the sake of hustling, right? If it's you're working for a job that, one, you don't have any upside in, like, that's definitely where I think hustle culture is wrong. The idea of putting in an absurd number of hours, an uncomfortable number of hours for someone else, unless there is full incentive alignment where you know that for every extra hour you work, you're unlocking some kind of exponential benefit. But a salaried worker who has no upside potential, that is how you burn out if you're working, if you go the hustle culture route. But when you have something that you have complete ownership of, that you can take to the next level, it makes sense that every additional hour is probably going to yield something good. Interesting.
Khe, floor is yours. What are your thoughts on just specifically business and money? Dickie brought up something interesting here, which is that, okay, maybe there is a difference between, you know, when you're working for yourself and you're building something, you're building equity in your own thing, versus slaving for someone else and, you know, like making, you know, extra basis points on their bottom line or something. Like, is there a difference there? Like, what is your perspective on, like, can you just calm down, still have a nice life for yourself? You don't need to do any of this, even at the outset.
So I like to think, I mean, we're entering the World Cup on Sunday. So I look at Messi, right? And I learned from Messi because Messi is strategically lazy. If you look at a chart of how much walking he does, he walks more than anyone on the pitch, and no one's going to debate his output. And so I think that there's the question to look at with hustle culture is, what is the marginal value of the next hour worked? So we work 30-hour work weeks at Rad Reads. And so in my mind, the calculation is that what you can get from the 30 to 40, let's say, or 60 or whatever, is not worth the trade-off in the long term, right? And again, that long game might be 10 years, right? And so I'm always thinking about, like, what's the next dollar worth? What's the next hour worth? And where can I be strategically lazy, right? Mr. Beast once said, a video that gets 1 million views and a video that gets 100 million views doesn't take 100 times more work to produce. So if you can find those levers, that's where you look.